Hello everyone, it's me Walter, and I'm waiting for Florian to come and to share thoughts. Hello? Hello? Let me send the request again.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Gut, freut mich. Danke, gut. Und dir?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm very happy to see you. You know, guys, I'm very sorry.
Oh.
Sometimes we are missing our sessions. It's not because we are not willing to have our sessions as musicians, but sometimes the schedule over the United, because we are talking across the world. Let's just be honest. Hi, everyone. I cannot see because I needed to put everything, all the stuff in at one place, you know, and I couldn't actually barely can find a place to put my my computer, my other things, so I need to move some things. So yeah, sometimes due to issues with my schedule, because I teach private and I teach for another school, and I also travel to one of the studios that I have rehearsals, I have kind of, let's just say, flexible houring, and sometimes I'm really impossible to participate because we have around probably 9 hours of difference between.
Ja.
So in Germany,
So ist das.
yeah, in Germany is 9 hours ahead of the United States. So this is also a factor that sometimes we cannot do our loving session of talking about music, talking about stuff. Recently, I was told, why don't you start again to do conducting videos, you know, how you do conducting relationship in music in conductor and musician. What is the relationship between the orchestra, conductor, and composer? So that's a good idea. So Florian, have that in mind. We might probably do that too, you know. It's good that we talk. And also, next week, I can do this Sunday, because this Sunday we are going to talk about Schumann, right? And
ja, Schumann Sinfonie.
Yes, and I cannot miss Schumann because I'm part of family Schumann. So, so if I miss for my own family, you know, and ancestors, the music, that will be shame. That's not nice.
Also nochmal für viele, wie Walter schon gesagt hat, es sind 9 Stunden Unterschied und viele haben mir geschrieben, weil wir öfters mal unsere letzten Livestreams abgesagt haben auf Instagram, zum Beispiel für List, Dante und manche andere. Es liegt nicht daran, dass wir das nicht wollen. Walter und ich machen das sehr, sehr gerne und wir sind sehr froh, dass viele sich auch dafür interessieren. Aber wie schon gesagt, es liegt ein wenig an die Zeit, an der Unterschied. Wir haben in Deutschland zurzeit 18:07 Uhr, in der USA ist es gerade 9:07 Uhr.
Yeah.
Und wir haben beide sehr, sehr viel zu tun und versuchen uns das sehr jetzt zu organisieren und das alles so zu planen, dass wir das schaffen. Aber nur im Voraus, es liegt nicht daran, dass wir das nicht wollen. Es liegt nur daran, dass wir sehr, sehr beschäftigt sind. Aber wir machen das trotzdem gerne für euch und auch für uns. Es macht uns sehr Spaß, ja.
Yeah. So I do very much apologize, because most of the time for decline and for rejections are coming from my side. It's not Florian's side, so don't hate him. He is a wonderful person, and Florian is a great professional. And I do very much love the abilities to talk with him and to create music conversations about music, about life, about composers. the way they see things, the way that. And today our topic is going to be, our main topic is going to be Mendelssohn. And you know, while I was doing some stuff in my wardrobe, I needed to find some things so I can get to the right, right positioning for my computer things. And I was looking for some things, and once in a sudden, the box with my conductor's stick, this is dirigieren Stock, fell off, and all of my conductor sticks, kind of spilled out on the floor. And I said, oh, well, I haven't hold that for many time. I mean, I bought those when I was in the United States. Originally, my original professional ones are a special model of conducting stick that I created. Sir Colin Davis actually won it, so I gave one to Sir Colin Davis and a few musicians, a special model of conductor stick that can apply to almost every hand with no difficulties. This is for all those who wants to continue conducting one day. And when I came to the United States, they were stolen. So if you go to my YouTube, yes, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see me conducting with a very specific type of the ending on the baton. And the body was bought from Switzerland. And other part I personally created, engineered with a maker that I told him how to do things. Of course, it's all right. The copyrights are preserved for me because I'm the inventor. But it amazes me that when I came to the United States, it didn't last more than a few months and it was stolen. I had 2 conductors. It was stolen. So borrow.
Das tut mir leid.
Yes, I needed to borrow conductor sticks here and there while I was conducting or something, but it never the same. It's never the same. So I bought these ones as a raw material because those are from a genuine material. This is a very good quality of fiber.
Yeah.
And this is real wood. This is not a plastic.
Yeah, toll.
A real wood. And when I got the company, I mean, they don't know how to do very well. So I need to remodel the conductor sticks as well, because their balancing is all the way here, which should not be, But anyway, I took the raw material and eventually will have the time to remodel them in my own engineering conductor stick, which was actually, as I said, approved by 2 of my teachers, Sir Neville Mariner and Sir Colin Davis. So that's probably in the future plans. Hi, Emily. We are very happy for everyone who joins the chat, the live stream. And here is Florian. And today, so I've decided, okay, let me have this. I might probably need it. When I explain, sometimes it's good to just point things. And I spent my life practically with holding either bow or conductor stick. That was the 2 main things that or pencil, pencil. Those are the 3 things that I mainly hold in my life: bow and conductor stick. So today we are going to talk one of my most favorite topic. It's Reformation Symphony by Felix Mendelssohn. Well, so what can you tell us about what is Felix? I mean, we all know Felix Mendelssohn, right? And there are very interesting facts that people don't know about him.
Yeah.
And so, what can you tell us? For instance, one interesting fact is that his symphonies are not aligned correct me. The editor took and make a different numerations, like he put a different setup for the numbers. So first, second, third Scottish, fourth Italian, fifth Reformation, but it's actually completely opposite. Scottish and
So ist
last. And also, it's very well known that we love the symphony, Italian symphony. So you can hear a lot on the radio, although Mendelssohn didn't like it.
Das stimmt, das stimmt. Ist genauso bei der 5. Sinfonie. Genauso bei der 5. Sinfonie, nachdem er sie komponiert hat, wollte Mendelssohn sie ins Feuer, also löschen.
Yeah, he didn't like it. It was actually said that Mendelssohn hated so much. He didn't like the symphony. Why? Some people says because he didn't want it to be affiliated with religion, because the Reformation symphony proclaims the day of Reformation, you know. By Martin Luther, he takes a special chorale, you know, a choral from Bach, you know, that Martin Luther takes and creates, you know, this a Reformation movement. It's like something that when you hear this song, you know it's Martin Luther, right? Reformation, Lutheran church. Some people will say, no, he did it because he didn't want it to affiliate with Christians. But the truth is, Mendelssohn was raised as a Protestant.
Ja, Protestant. Es geht auch um den Protestantismus in dieser Sinfonie. Ja? Wenn man die Geschichte von Martin Luther kennt, weiß man genau, dass es um den Protestantismus geht, um den Unterschied zwischen katholisch und Protestant.
Yeah, so he kind of, I can tell that he sort of liked to be a Protestant, but at the same time he wanted to go to his roots, back to his roots, you know, which are Jewish, you know. I'm trying to find something very interesting that I read this morning about him, and
Vielleicht sage ich ganz kurz was zu der Sinfonie und du findest das, du kannst kurz den Artikel suchen. Ich rede ganz kurz. Also wie viele schon wissen, die 5. Sinfonie entstand um die 1830er Jahren, 1829, 30 ungefähr.
yeah.
Und wie du schon vorhin gesagt hast, ist die Nummerierung der Sinfonien bei Mendelssohn nicht korrekt. Ja. Die Reformationssinfonie wird heutzutage als seine 5. und letzte Sinfonie nun angesehen, ja, als seine 5. Sinfonie.
Ja.
Aber das stimmt nicht, denn die Sinfonie entstand 1830 als seine 2. Sinfonie. Als seine 2. Sinfonie.
Ja.
Das kann nicht sein, denn Mendelssohn Bartholdy wurde 1809 geboren. Und als er die Sinfonie geschrieben hat, war er ungefähr 20, 21 Jahre alt. Und nicht erst 40 oder sowas, ja, das kann nicht sein.
Ja.
Diese Sinfonie entstand 1829 bis 30 als seine 2. der 5 Sinfonien von Mendelssohn Bartholdy. Und da der Komponist später von seinem Werk nun abrückte, erschien die Sinfonie erst 1868, ja, im Druck. Und dabei erhielt sie die Nummer 5, ja, da die später entstanden italienische Sinfonie 1833 und Lobgesang erst ab 1840 und die schottische Sinfonie 42 bereits veröffentlicht waren.
Yeah.
Und diese Sinfonie wurde viel später veröffentlicht, deswegen erhielt sie die Nummer 5, obwohl sie gar nicht um die Zeit geschrieben worden ist.
Yes. So Florian telling us that the symphony was created in 1830s, and in 1830s the symphony was given to, you know, publicity or way after it's been declined eventually, and it was written as a second. It's impossible, you know, due to the correctness of the editors, to be number 5, which eventually become. So this number 5, so-called number 5 Reformation, it's actually his second symphony. He wrote it in 1830s, and most likely June 25th, around June 25th, and it was published actually way later. Mendelssohn did dislike the. He actually expressed opinion. Well, if I have to, they asked him, if you have to get rid of one of your pieces, which one would it be? And he says Italian and Reformation Symphony. He didn't like. So it's not based on a political or Christian values or views. It's more like Mendelssohn was notorious when he needed to reconstruct his own pieces. He was going over his stuff and rewrites them every time. Every time he takes it, and he doesn't like it. Today he will like something and say, "Oh, perfect," he will rewrite. And then the very next day he will say, "No, I don't like it." And he scratch it off and write a new one. So that's how Mendelssohn was. He was very impulsive, very energetic, very, you know, that's why you can see the Italian symphony practically shows his impulsiveness. You know, so you can see that, but at the same time, you can see his other side. You know, other side was very, very deep, very philosophical, very religious, very political even, very much for the human rights, for the religious freedom. He was one of the first people as a composers to claim a religious freedom. Not only for the, but for Jewish. And you understand the fact that he struggled because everybody knew he is a Jewish, but at the same time he's a Christian, and he was disapproved by the society. He was mocked many times. He was disapproved based on the fact that he was Jewish, and also he even changed his name. So Bartholdi is not his real name, you know. His real name is completely different. We know that his you know, his name Felix Mendelssohn is probably the only 2 names that are real. His real name Ludwig, actually. Is blah 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 and goes to Felix Mendelssohn. And there is some Maria something like in the middle. So those are, sometimes they ask me, hey, why, Walter, why is your name so long? You know, because mine is Walter von Schnellbacher, Bach from Schumann, you know, Wilmore. And they said, why so long? And I said, it's an old tradition. You know, in Germany, no, the names become 3 or 4 after the World War I and II. So they cut them up to 2 and 3 names. But before that, before the World War I and II, the names were loaned. You know, I have to really, so his name was completely different. And so he struggled. And as Florian said, this symphony was, the moment it was put and published, they performed once. The orchestra player complained because it's very difficult. Even some of the players says, "Oh, it's too much to learn." So he was very disappointed. He couldn't redo anything, so he put it into a jar, you know. This Reformation symphony. So it says that the Italian symphony was found 2 or 3 years after his death, and the Reformation symphony, which is before the Italian, written before the Italian, was found almost 20 years after his death.
Genau.
So, but Reformation Symphony has a very good connection, and this very good connection leads to where? To Beethoven. So Reformation Symphony was started to be written. You know, Mendelssohn started writing his Reformation Symphony number 2 in reality, not number 5. So 2 years after Beethoven's death. So Beethoven dies in 2-3 years right after Beethoven passes away. Mendelssohn started writing this symphony. By the way, structurally, if you see the symphony Reformation, you'll see very much the way Beethoven writes. Very low introductions in the very beginning. Let me see. Very, very, very beginning. So let's hear it. You know, here we have the Felix Mendelssohn. The beginning is very slow, like Beethoven does it. Can you hear well?
Nein, nicht wirklich, nein. Besser.
Can you hear? Yeah. And continues.
Romantisch, sehr romantisch.
Exactly. This is very romantic, but the structure, the orchestration, the way he made it, it was based on so-called, we have a Dresden Amen. This first few bars, it's actually taken from a special chorale or in Saxony, Dresden, you know, and in Saxony, he took that and put it in notes. Listen how it sounds. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what Mendelssohn put right in his Fifth Symphony. Listen again. You know, listen very carefully. Can you hear? And continues. It makes like a canon. He made this in a structure of canon, but Wagner, Richard Wagner, who disliked, he didn't like Mendelssohn very much. Richard Wagner.
Ja, das stimmt. Das stimmt.
He actually used the same structure. The Dresden Amen, he used it in his Parsifal opera.
Das stimmt.
Yeah. And it's very interesting that Beethoven, he uses Beethoven manners to create this symphony. The Beethoven technique. Beethoven was something, a big role. It took a big role in in Mendelssohn's life? Beethoven.
Das stimmt. Das stimmt. Beethoven war sein Vorbild und Mendelssohn hat Beethoven sehr geehrt. Aber nicht nur Beethoven. Bach war sein größter Vorbild, Johann Sebastian Bach.
Ja.
Das wissen wir alle, das wissen wir. Und Mendelssohn führt in einer sehr besonderen Melodikform, eine sehr besondere Melodikform, im Grunde das, was Beethoven in der Pastorale begann. Ja? Mendelssohn führt quasi das, was Beethoven in seiner Pastorale nun begann, in einer sehr besonderen und speziellen Form, Melodikform, nun weiter. Und es handelt sich bei der Reformationssinfonie um die erste Sinfonie, die in der Nachfolge Beethoven steht.
Yeah.
Ja.
Yeah. That's what Florian says, that he not only Beethoven but Bach, and he refers to Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, the pastoral, as well as the construction as a form and the melodical structure of his First Symphony, which is being so unusual at the time. Yeah.
Und was auch sehr wichtig ist, bitte übersetzt das kurz, Mendelssohn führt in einer sehr besonderen und speziellen Melodikform im Grunde das, was Ludwig van Beethoven in der Pastorale begann.
Yeah. You can see the melodical part Mendelssohn expresses in his melodical structure the way Beethoven did in his pastoral symphony. So it's practically very much similar and the same.
So ist es. Genau. Mendelssohn spielt eine sehr, sehr wichtige Rolle in der Musikgeschichte. Ist ein Frühromantiker, würden die Musikwissenschaftler sagen. Ein Frühromantiker, er wurde 1809 geboren. Und er war sehr, sehr wichtig.
Yeah.
Das wissen viele nicht, denn der hat mit Schumann gemeinsam viele Werke, die vergessen wurden, die in Vergessenheit blieben, wieder aufgeführt. Das wissen wir.
Yeah.
Und Mendelssohn hat auch in seinen Werken das wiedergegeben, was Bach und Beethoven in seine Werke verspiegelten. Wiedergaben. Das hat er, diese Struktur, diese feste Form hat er benutzt. Bei dieser Sinfonie, was die Sonatenhauptsatzform betrifft, nicht, denn die Sinfonie hat nicht 4, sondern 3 Sätze, 3, also Allegro vivace, Andante und Choral. Ja, das ist ein Festburg in unser Gott, ja, heißt das. Das ist der Titel Andante con moto, Allegro vivace und Allegro maestoso, ja.
Yes.
Also, genau, das vielleicht erstmal.
It's practically the third movement, as Florian says, that everything goes back to Schumann and Mendelssohn, which rediscovered Bach and the compositions of great composers in the past, including Beethoven's works. And you can see the structuring their symphonies in similar way. You can also see that this particular symphony, Felix Mendelssohn, creating in a different way. Instead of being 4 parts, like a regular sonata form, it's actually 3 that is divided in 2. So Allegro con fuoco is the first movement, and the second is Allegro vivace, and the third, which usually is the opposite, that the second usually is a slow movement, right? So he does something that Brahms eventually does in his Third Symphony. So,
Bitte?
So Mendelssohn creates his symphony, Reformation, like very much Brahms eventually will create his third symphony.
Oh, ja, ja,
Because
stimmt.
the third part of Mendelssohn here is Andante.
Ja,
And then you have Attacca, but this Attacca is not exactly Attacca because you end up in bass, you know, in G. So you have minor, and once in a sudden comes out to light, brighten a chord, and then you stay, then stays out in the G tone, Sol major. Yeah, and you see only one tone, like E-tone, like an organ punct tone, and then starts the chorale. Da, di, da, 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 da.
ganz genau. Stimmt, stimmt.
And this
Genau.
actually major is a symbol of faith, hope.
Ja, ja,
So,
stimmt.
and usually in nature we have what? In nature we have three main colors: red, pink, we have green, and we have blue. The three main colors in the nature are blue, forms of blue, red, and pink, and what? And especially green. So those are the three colors, you know. Green is hope, blue, green is faith, blue is hope, and red is love.
Stimmt.
And so we have this projection in music symbolically. Bach, Mendelssohn, Brahms, Beethoven does the same. They use special minors and majors, special tones to express their faith or tragic or sadness, joyfulness, whatever is in their state and mind. So here we see what? G. And G is the tone of what? Faith.
Stimmt.
And that's why he continues, the whole structure of his symphony is practically like a canon and fuga.
Yeah.
So if you see the first, we have introduction in the first part, and then we start with we start with eventually fuga. When you go to the very last part, you start the same with fuga. It's a form that Beethoven does, and eventually he ended up ta 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 tam pam. So this is a motive that it's taken from where? From ta 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 tam. It's mentor, not mentor, but idol. Let's just say not idol in this sense, but yeah, the person he admired most, Bach and Beethoven. So they use this fate, the element of fate, destiny. Ta, 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 ta.
Das stimmt, das stimmt. Vielleicht, bevor ich das noch sage, eine Information, eine wichtige Information. Viele fragen sich darüber, sehr viele Musikwissenschaftler, sehr viele Dirigenten, Fachleute, die sich damit beschäftigen, fragen sich das. Auf dem Titelbogen der Autographenpartitur vermerkt Mendelssohn-Bartholdy als Tonart D-Dur. Ja, aber tatsächlich beginnt die Sinfonie mit einer Einleitung in D-Dur. Aber das Hauptthema ist in D-Moll.
Yeah.
Ja.
So there is.
Das Hauptthema.
Ja.
Das Hauptthema des ersten Satzes und auch die Kadenzführung und sind dann jedoch in D-Moll.
Ja.
Ja. Und da sich die Tonartenbezeichnungen in einer Sinfonie normalerweise nach dem Hauptthema richtet, wird die Tonart des Werkes in vielen Nachschlagswerken musikalisch konkret als D-Moll angegeben. und bezeichnet.
Ja.
Mendelssohn hat das in D-Dur vermerkt, aber das Hauptthema und die ganze Kadenzführung ist in D-Moll. Also müsste man normalerweise sagen, die Sinfonie ist in D-Moll und nicht D-Dur.
Yeah. So, Florian, this gives us some kind of information about that. Mendelssohn initially wrote the symphony in D major, but the whole structure in his first part of the symphony is telling us it goes all D minor instead. So many conductors and musicians discuss and talks about that actually the symphony should be gone not in D major, but it should be called as a D minor. And that's very much true, because later on, musician writes, people write, they put the title of the symphony Reformation, and they put, instead of D major, they put D minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this particular moment is when you're talking is here. Let's hear a little. Can you hear? Hears to me? Hears to me? So he changes the structure. He changed the chords. He made transitionings from one key to another. Bum, 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 bum. And the third time he goes in D minor.
Yeah.
So that's how he creates this whole structure. For a moment, you see, okay, how did he end up the strict tones? Dum, bam, ba, bam. Where do we hear this? Where is the other one place we hear something very, very, very similar to this? There is one composer, that does that. Let me see if I can find that.
Äh, Walter,
Yeah.
welcher Satz war das, was du gerade gezeigt hast?
Do we have time?
Welcher Satz? Which movement
Oh,
was this?
yeah. Oh, which movement you mean about the other composer?
Nee, nein, das, was du gerade gezeigt hast von Mendelssohn, was wir gerade gehört haben.
Movement. This is the first movement. This is very,
Ja.
yeah, this is erste Satz. So here, there is this symphony by by can you recall there was this symphony by Haydn, and Haydn does very much the same. He used yeah.
Warte. Ich glaube 77, glaube ich, ist das.
Haydn.
Ich glaube, das ist die Sinfonie Nummer 77. Ich glaube, ja.
It's in
Ist das 77? Ist das 77?
104.
104.
104. This is actually Haydn Symphony number 104. Actually, many of Haydn symphonies, they start unison. Bam, ba, bam, da. It does, Mendelssohn does the same structure, which is very unique. You will ever see a composer from the Romantic era writes in octaves, you know, pam, pam, pa, pam, 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 pira, dum, 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 pam, pam. And that's something very unusual. This is Haydn does that. Also, there is another composer who takes the idea to emphasize on the significance of fate, of destiny.
Bei Haydn, Sinfonie Nummer 77 ist das auch so. Das
Ja.
beginnt auch so ähnlich, ja?
Ja.
Und es gibt viele Komponisten, die dasselbe Schema haben.
That's absolutely correct. And here we have another composer who does the same in his overture. He used only singular tones. Okay, that's not the one that I'm looking for, but this probably. And we got it. And now this we call Giuseppe Verdi. Giuseppe
Verdi, ja.
Same. And so Giuseppe Verdi uses straight octaves. There is a moment that bam, bam, bam. Puccini does the same eventually to describe bam, 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 bam in Tosca, Bohème, La Bohème, Verdi, Traviata, and La Forza del Destino. He uses what? A specific chords to signify, to put the significance of fate, of destiny, of something that is unchangeable, will never change. And so this is taken by Beethoven, of course, but it's also taken by Bach.
Ja, bei Bach auch, ja. Ja.
Yeah, and that
und was auch sehr wichtig und sehr interessant ist, das hört man sowohl bei Beethoven als auch bei Bach und bei anderen Komponisten. Das Schema ist dasselbe. Es beginnt mit einem Tagen Hochspannung. Es beginnt sehr spannend.
Yeah.
Dann in den Kämpfen des ersten Satzes bei Mendelssohn, ja, in den Kämpfen des ersten Satzes, ja, die hier wirklich wie Kämpfe wirken. Es ist sehr düster, sehr, sehr laut und sehr spannend am Anfang. Mit der sympathischen guten Laune dann des zweiten Satzes, ja, in der starken Innenspannung des Intermezzo, Hafen des dritten Satzes und schließlich in den letztlichen Triumph der Bekräftigung des Choralendes, ja.
Yeah.
Der erste Satz ist, wie gesagt, düster.
Ja.
Es ist eine düstere Zeit der Unterdrückung, nur zeitweise unterbrochen, ja, durch Funken der Hoffnung und der Wahrhaftigkeit, ja. Dresdner Amen, ja. So, der zweite Satz ist dann das Tauwetter,
Ja.
neue Hoffnung, ja, die Reformation bringt.
Ja.
Der dritte Satz ist dann die kurze Lattenphase und Unsicherheit. Und der vierte Satz ist der Triumph. Der Triumph der Reformation.
Ja.
Und das bringt Mendelssohn hier. Und die Harmonien und das Schema, die Form ist so wie in der puren Klassik unter der vorherigen Zeitepoche der Musikgeschichte. Barock und Klassik. Das ist das reine, was er nimmt.
Exactly. Florian is telling us the fact that the whole symphony, I'm trying to wave to a person, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, I think I did it. Okay. So he constructs the whole symphony. That the first part starts with the Dresden Amen, the second Saxony Amen. This is a chorale created actually, not, they said 6 notes, but actually there are 7. You know, it's created by 6 Amen, you know, gradually step up for the royal court at the time in Saxony. So it was performed in the palace. However, the second part is coming as a second and like a new hope, new, you know, new fate. The third part and the fourth, the last, is practically the proclamation of faith. You know, it's Reformation. It's everything that brings the Reformation is good. You know, in Christian life, practically it's triumph of everything that this part brings is, you know, in terms of Christianity, in terms of faith. Practically, he wants to manifest, Mendelssohn manifests the good outcome of Reformed mind. And that's why he was very, very much dwelling between Judaism and Protestantism. He was always says that the church should not try to oppress the conscience of a, and that was a stumbling stone for him. That at the time, church had a very strong influence over the people's minds and conscience, and he even found for himself, they, you know, after in his belongings, after his death, they found the Bible, the Torah, the Pentalogies, you know, the Pentateuch books, then Psalms, Solomon's books, and the prophets' books, prophetic books, which tells us that he was very devoted Christians, but at the same time, he one of his most significant works are based on Judaism and Jerusalem. Was his last piece is Jerusalem, and it was in manner of significance that this Jerusalem will give the humanity the freedom of conscience and professing their faith based on their conscience and based on their belief, based on their faith in God. So that that he believed that Jerusalem one day will be the city to where everyone will freely, based on
Das stimmt.
understanding of God you know, and Christianity or Christ or religion will be able to profess there, you know, and to worship. So, and that's why you will see Elijah also oratorium by Mendelssohn. You can see a lot of things that Mendelssohn refer to this old South. Many people will say, oh, he definitely wanted to become only Jewish. No, actually, he was the first person to try to open the window and the door for people to have religious freedom, to which we, our day, very much enjoy, right?
Natürlich, natürlich. Es war Beethoven genauso. Beethoven hat auch sehr viel für die Freiheit komponiert.
As well.
Ja?
Well, Mozart as well. Lots of the composers, lots of the generations of composers were practically telling the world that the church should not be oppressing the people's personal choice and conscience, which is the direct connection between God and man, right? A humankind.
Das stimmt, ganz genau. Und ich muss auch dazu sagen, viele Komponisten waren sehr schwierige Menschen. Ja, das ist die Wahrheit. Meiner Meinung nach, viele Komponisten waren komplizierte Menschen. Aber Mendelssohn war ein sehr sympathischer Mensch, meiner Meinung nach. Ja, der war ein sehr sympathischer Mensch, sehr, sehr gläubig, hat sehr viel dafür getan und hat auch sehr viel als Poet, als Dirigent, als Direktor, als Organist, Pianist, Komponist, und der hat viele Berufe ausgeübt. Wurde am Anfang von seinen Eltern zum 12. Geburtstag als christlich getauft. Ja, christlich getauft wurde er. Und er hat sehr viel für die Kirche und für die Freiheit der Menschen gemacht. Sehr viel sich auch für Geschichte interessiert, und wollte zum 300 später ein musikalisches Manifest quasi komponieren für den Protestantismus, was Martin Luther damals gemacht hat. Ja, dafür hat er diese Reformationssinfonie komponiert als ein Symbol, als ein Manifest, ja.
Exactly. So with everything that happens, Florian says that this Reformation Symphony was a manifest of, you know, a hope, a new thing, because the political scenes at the time Mendelssohn was living was very hard and difficult for Jewish people, but not only for Jewish. The French revolutions were coming at the time. You know, the French British economy was going down. Things were not pretty. You know, it's pretty much the same like our days. You know, we see how things are going on. Political influences and powers, they falls down, economy crashes, gray sectors and financial breaks. So it's been the same around Mendelssohn's time. And so this seems to practically gives a hope, you know, of Reformation. It puts his hope in the Reformation that Reformation can do better, can actually improve people's lives. And that's why he put this Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott, which is mean in reality is taken by Reformation Day by Johann Sebastian Bach cantata, you know, that is written in Leipzig and cantata. And this, it's, you know, it's a chorale Martin Luther takes eventually. That practically says, Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott. That was published in 1821, eventually later on. And this is a mighty fortress is our God. That's how it's translated in English. But in German, it's practically a little different, you know. Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott. It's in German, it's more likely, you know, what a strength and power is our God.
Yeah.
So the meaning is, you know, Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott. This is one, a unlimited power and fortress is our God. So it's not only to say not only how they translate it in here. Let me see. A mighty fortress is our God. You know, just like a statement. Not it's just like a statement. A mighty fortress is our God. Here we talk about a living relationship between a man and a human, a man and God, humankind and God. And the mankind said, God is my strength. You see, it's something a little bit different. One is to say, Florian is a very good musician. One thing is to say, Florian is a very good musician. But it's different to say, Florian's influence the music because of his good musicianship. You see, the one is just a,
Yeah.
but the other is an active power that influence a humankind, you know, and change. So that's how in German is. So in German is we talk about constant energy, strength, power from God that change our own life. And ein feste Burg ist unsere God, which is what a power in, you know, is my God, our God, my God. So it's something that very much referred to the Jewish, you know, because they said our God is what? The powerful, the most, you know, the most high. And it's the same thing. And it's a chorale for four voices choir, and Mendelssohn put this into a wonderful state. Here, let me try to find a little part of this. Let me see if I can fix it. And here's the major. And now, unifying tone, chord G. And in double bass, you know.
In einem sehr Barock-Stil.
It's beautiful. So the whole this part goes in layers of projecting, you know, of presenting this melody, the chorale. He put the whole, he uses bassoon contrafagotto, which is very rare. You know, at the time contrafagotto wasn't used much. But
Ja.
used. I cannot hear. Can you hear me?
Ja, kannst du mich hören jetzt?
Ja.
Ja.
Yeah. So, and he goes and completes the whole thing until the moment, let me see, where is this place? Let me see if I can find that. To where after the whole section of Fuga, he comes to the chorale. Bam! It's enlightens the whole space with the chorale. And
Ist übrigens auch eine ist übrigens eine sehr außergewöhnliche Besetzung, auch orchestrale Besetzung und außergewöhnliche Harmonien, die
yeah,
sehr oft in der Zeit von Bach benutzt wurden.
yeah, exactly. It's that's the whole harmony. Florian says is very much referring to the Bach's time, Bach epoch. Fuga. A lyric moment. Focus. And tinkling. And he goes in octaves. That's how this symphony finished. It finished with great joy, enjoyment, with great
Ist ein Triumph.
triumph.
Ein Triumph.
Triumph, exactly. Something you can see, in one of
Es ist es schließt letztendlich mit einem großen Triumph, was die Reformation von Martin Luther,
Ja.
den Protestantismus darstellt, im Mittelpunkt der Melodie, der Melodik. Und es gibt sehr viele Wiederholungen.
Ja.
Und es sind große Harmonien, die einen wirklich, das klingt majestätisch, das ist ein Triumph. Eine große Freude.
Yeah, it's a big joy, says Florian. It's a hope. This is triumph, the full, complete triumph, joy, you know. And in Germany, Freude means joy in English. It's a complete manifest of hope, joy, and triumph. Something similar we can see that it's happening in one of the symphonies that are, let's see if I can find the right place. Oh, yeah, this is Brahms, number 1, Symphony 1, vierte Satz. In the very end, Brahms does the same exact moment.
Und ja,
So,
und nicht nur Brahms.
here. And now here. Trumpet. Yeah. Trombone. So Brahms does exact same thing. He goes to the chorale, as a full majestic triumph of joy, faith, and hope. Because how to say wave? Okay, because the first symphony by Brahms actually is a tragic symphony. It was written after his mom passed away, and it's a tragic symphony. But this at the very end, it's just literally breaking the space with.
Das stimmt.
It's the same what Mendelssohn does,
Stimmt. Und Brahms, wie wir auch wissen, Brahms hat sich auch sehr nach Beethoven und Bach orientiert. Aber noch eine Sache, sehr spannend, mit dem dritten Satz von Mendelssohn. Der dritte Satz tut sich große Romantik, ja?
Ja.
Ist eine Schicksalsmelodie.
Ja.
Aber es ist ähnlich wie Schumanns zweite Symphonie.
Yes.
Ähnlich wie Schumanns zweite Sinfonie. Es geht dann geht's direkt weiter, ja? Also man merkt hier, wie die jeweiligen Komponisten der Romantik so viel von Beethoven und Bach haben. Und der dritte Satz von Mendelssohn ist etwa wie Schumanns zweite Sinfonie.
Yeah. Here is a little from the third part of Mendelssohn third movement. Okay.
Schumanns zweite Sinfonie. In G-Moll.
Yes.
Schicksal, Melancholie, pure Melancholie.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And here we can Schumann, the Second Symphony. I do believe it's a long symphony. I do believe this part you can see in the third movement of Schumann Symphony.
Ja.
Third movement.
Müsste der dritte Satz sein, ja.
So I'll try to find it.
Weiter vor, das müsste Anfang. Die Flöte hat das Thema. Sehr romantisch, sehr melancholisch, ja, das ist ein Schicksal. Und das war der dritte Satz, da sieht man diese Ähnlichkeiten mit Schumann und Mendelssohn. Und bei der vierte Satz, das ist die große Tragik, ja, das ist Andante con moto, ja, eine feste Burg ist unser Gott. Das ist das Thema des vierten Satzes. Und das steigt sich in einem Choral, ja, das steigt sich. Es ist zuerst, es beginnt zart, leicht, melancholisch. Und dann feierlich.
Ja.
Dann ist es feierlich. Und dann der Hauptsatz. Der Hauptsatz des vierten Satzes ist Dramatik.
Ja.
Dramatik, eine Feierlichkeit reizvoll zu verbinden, ja. Das ist sehr dramatisch. Das Hauptthema ist sehr dramatisch. Und dann kommt der Kontrapunkt der Kontrapunkt und dann löst sich alles feierlich, ja. Das Werk endet würdig feierlich.
Ja.
Es beginnt zart, dann ist es feierlich, dann ist es dramatisch, große Besetzung, große Dynamik und dann endet es feierlich als ein Triumph. Ja. So, und das ist zu vergleichen mit Verdi, ja, und mit Beethovens Werken, ja, das sind so die Beispiele dafür.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, as he said, that the whole structure of the symphony starts from, something that is fire and dramatic, that goes to melancholical part, to very dramatic triumph, and finally ends with triumph, or with joy, with something that is completely manifest his own understanding and faith for free religious understanding and an idea of worshiping. That's something that's lots of people take very wrong about Mendelssohn. It's about his understanding of God, but he has been raised as a Protestant. He has been also, very deeply connected to the Judaism, and which, let's just be honest, Christianity and Judaism are not far from each other.
No.
They are very similar, and some differences, but in general, in the real state, Christianity and Judaism overlap a lot, and it shows. Also, you can see similar moments in Shostakovich, music.
Ja, stimmt.
Ja.
Seine Musik ist auch, die Musik von Shostakovich ist auch ein Programmmusik, ja. Ist auch ein Programm, und das ist das von Mendelssohn. Seine Reformationssinfonie ist ja auch ein Programmsinfonie. Es bezieht sich auf Martin Luther. Es ist ein Programmmusik. Es ist oft bei Mendelssohn so, bei Sommernachtstraum, bei Elias
Yeah,
und ne, bei den großen Werken von Mendelssohn, das sind Programmmusiker, die beziehen sich ja aufeinander. Und bei Schostakowitsch ist es auch so.
exactly. Shostakovich, because all the music that it's composed by Mendelssohn and um, composers are program music. So practically that's what Florian says, and as well as Shostakovich's music and symphonies is a program, specially programmed music based on certain, parts, symbolic understanding, influence, and faith. So that's you can also see similar things to another composer. Let's just see. And the composer is who uses he used he uses exact same structure of chorale, like at the very end, and he goes with the same fugue structure. This is Tchaikovsky, and it starts. And fugue. And goes all the way. And goes all the way.
Das
So
ist,
he comes back to the chorale again. This is
das war, welche Sinfonie von die zweite?
the finale. Also, we can see the same structure he used for his so-called Third Symphony finale, which is in D major, by the way.
Ja.
So, Fuga. Third Symphony Polish. You hear the chorale. That's the chorale. this is in D major. Once again, we see a great, so the whole symphony goes kind of in a minor, and once in a sudden comes to an end of D major, and that's why it's written as D major, not D minor. It's a Polish third symphony. It's the same thing with his fourth symphony. He uses at the very end, and he uses in his fifth symphony. His fifth symphony in the very finale. You can see the same idea up to his last moment. You can see this exactly. I'm trying to find it. Here, it's very close. Can you hear? It's very close. After the timpani, and you close, and here, and now. From violin and so that's, he uses this. He uses this time the string section instead of the brass, but as far as you go, he used the brass at the end, you know.
Natürlich, ja. Ja, und auch die Harmonien. Auch die Harmonien sind ist wie bei der Kirchenmusik. Wie bei der Kirchenmusik, wie in der Barockzeit.
Ja.
Ist bei Haydn genauso, ist bei Mendelssohn oft in seinen Werken so. Und bei vielen anderen Komponisten auch.
Ja.
Diese Kirchenharmonik, von der Kirchenmusik ist bei Tchaikovsky, haben wir gesehen, zweite und dritte Sinfonie so, ist aber auch bei Brahms, bei Haydn und bei Verdi, ja, und das führt zu Beethoven und zu Bach. Das ist diese Kirchenharmonik.
Yeah, this is a typical church harmonic and songs, it's tunes from the time of Bach. It's been used by, you know, all the way throughout, you know, the composers, Baroque, the Baroque, I mean the Baroque, and then the classical musicians, post-classical musicians, romantic, all the way through, you know, going to Tchaikovsky, which is late Romanticism, Verdi, Berlioz. You can see lots of things that are very, very, very similar to that. It's amazing what a great relationship music has and with people, and why music is so powerful. Music is powerful because changes people, and when changes people, changes the whole world. Many people try and change the world. Oh, let's go and change the world. Well, you have to change, we have to change first ourselves to change the world. And for better or worse, music is one of the most powerful influence, tool, gift to remodel and to change people. Music should be used wisely. And
Musik ist die Sprache der Seele. Musik ist Gottes Geschenk.
Yeah, it's a God's gift, he said. This is the speech, the talk of the Spirit, you know.
Und die Sprache der Seele, die Sprache der Seele.
The talks of the heart. I mean, the talks of the Spirit. And that's very important. It's a God's gift. And that's why we are so sensitive to sound and music. Well, and that's why Bach says that the music that lifts us, and Beethoven and Mendelssohn, they use music to lift up our spirit, our state and mood to what? To God's presence. And music is as important as prayer. Some people,
Ja.
prayer is the most important. Yes, and music also. Music is very important, and that's why misusing with music can bring a lot of devastation and damages, rather psychological or physical or cultural. But using music with the right purpose can bring blessings. And that's what the music is for, to bring blessings, to change people in a way that they can perform love, beauty, kindness, hope, faith, closeness in a relationship with God. That's what the purpose of music is. To proclaim, to manifest, and to give what? The understanding of God's love in people and for people, and His great love for humanity and for every living being in this universe. That's what,
So ist es.
yeah.
So ist es.
We had a wonderful time today. We postponed a
Ja.
little bit more, but I hope you enjoyed, because it's impossible to fit in an hour. But yeah, I'm grateful that you were today with us. This Sunday, I hope we will see us for Schumann. Schumann, we have a lot about Schumann and misconceptions, and also the right understanding and right interpretation of Schumann. Since I'm
Schumanns 4. Sinfonie, ja. Genau, wir haben Sonntag um 18 Uhr in derselben Uhrzeit unseren nächsten Livestream über Schumanns 4. Sinfonie, meine Lieblingssinfonie von Schumann.
Yeah, we are going to talk this Sunday at 18 Uhr. This is 6 p.m. at German time, and about Schumann. And we're going to talk the 4th Symphony. This is his favorite symphony, he said. I also think that his 1st and 2nd Symphony are very interesting. If people,
Natürlich.
Yeah. If people want to, there is a secret. If people want to understand the 4th Symphony, they should very well understand 2nd and 1st Symphony.
So ist das.
2nd Symphony is very much referring to the 4th Symphony, and it's something that if people know very well the 2nd and 1st, especially the last 2 parts of the 1st, they will very well know what actually Robert Schumann meant when he wrote his 4th Symphony. So
ist es.
Here we go. See you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Talk soon, and may God bless you. And thank you, Florian, and thank you to all of the equipment here and preparation, and thank you for all that you came today for this live stream. You have a good one.
Vielen, vielen Dank. Bis Sonntag. Tschüss. Tschüss.